Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us as we gather today to talk about our Sisters of the Rose, White Rose Flame retreat. I'm Anümani Santos, Elohi Magdalene Rosa, and I'm here with my beloved sister.
Hello, my beloved sister. I am Pamela Jane Gerrand, Elohi Maria Rosa, and we are so happy and grateful to be here with you this evening again. We're, I think, 3 or 4 into this series of meeting on Facebook Live to talk about the deepening of the love on the planet at this moment in response to many of the challenges that are arising to take us to this deeper place, and to speak about the current energies and how we are here to rise and shine together, my sister.
Beautiful. Yeah, we're going to be talking about the energies, as Pamela said, and talking about the retreat. So if you come online live with us, you can ask us questions. And I'm going to start, and then I'm going to let Pamela jump in. There's a lot of energy and acceleration happening. You can probably feel it. We just are still feeling the energies of the new moon in Pisces, an opportunity for us to press the reset button. And one of the things that I have been feeling and sensing strongly is I've always felt connected to the earth, but I feel a much deeper opening happening right now with the energy connected to Mother Earth and Gaia. It's as if she is trying to help root us in our bodies. And so there's a lot of energy connected to the elements, the water elements. I'll talk later about the whales and the connection to the whales and the water element, but also the energy of the nature spirits, the tree spirits, the rocks, the crystals. And you can see in the image behind us, the Sedona rocks, all of those elements are playing a big role in the anchoring of our soul's light into our human body. And in order to be able to manifest our heart's desires, we're all being called to step forth more deeply into who we truly are. We all have that within us. The earth and these elements are coming into play a more significant role to help anchor us in our bodies. Because it's only in the anchoring that we can embody more of who we are and then create the life that we're meant to have, which, by the way, is the energy I'm feeling is more joyful, more magical. You know, I think of King Arthur and the fairies and, Harry Potter and all that level of magic happening right now. And I think it's going to continue the more we surrender and open up to healing the places that are not allowing us to feel safe in our bodies. And I'm one of those people, as a starseed, that we all have an element of the stars in us, that felt very unsafe in my body. So I'm so grateful that I can feel and sense this big shift happening where we're getting even more support to help us anchor into this beautiful human body, this temple of light, because we need it to work in conjunction with our soul to be able to create the physical world around us.
Oh, so beautifully said, Anümani. And I have been feeling this as well coming into 2023. We spoke about this last time, that the energy of this year is really clearly different from last year, which was such a clearing, purging, surrendering time. And it's like we hit the ground running in 2023 with so much more energy available to us for our inspirations, our co-creations, innovations, having been kind of in a cocoon void place for so many years, that there was this electricity and joy in being able to be with each other again. And I don't know about you, but with this coming out and kind of like the rushing river of inspiration and, I'm feeling drawn to create this and do that. And it was almost like nature and Mother Earth was really calling me to ground in an even more conscious and deliberate way. And we spoke about this, and I know that for myself, it's not possible for me to hurry anymore. I can't outpace my thoughts or my energy that's available to me in a way that I might have been able to years ago. In that, I start to feel either a kind of a frenetic energy or a disconnect or exhaustion. And I can just tune and tap into my body and really feel that what I need to do is place my hand on my heart, take some deep breaths, go out, be with the tree people, go walking in the forest. I'm laughing because many of you know I have a new puppy, and she's here just beside me shaking her little rattly toy and saying, "Come on, Mama, play with me." And it's like the universe and our all of our guides and our teams are asking us to be so present to the moment. And as you say, with water and with the earth and the ways that we find ourselves becoming connected to more viscerally this universal energy. I think of it as, the life force, that organic matrix is asking us to connect to this vitality of biophilia, right? Everything that's living. And I feel like this earth herself is singing through the fear and the pain and the places in the world where there is the third dimensional enactment of war and enemy patterning. And we know that some of that discord and that white noise is getting louder as things are rising to the surface to be cleared. And with that white noise is also coming this incredible infusion of white light from the celestial realms, from the angels, the ascended masters. They are with us right now, cheering us on and saying, you're doing so well. All of you who are acknowledging that you came here to be here at this time, to be a lighthouse, to ground this beautiful love energy. And I'm being called to sing in some tones of this Earth Mother energy that is so present when we lean into that place where the light and dark meet, where our pain and joy collide, and there's something bigger. I'm wearing this beautiful necklace that has a Vesica Pisces. And this image is an ancient symbol that shows where the two circles meet. Something new is created. And that center of the Vesica Pisces, we know as kind of the symbol of, it looks like the fish that is always depicted around Christ. And it feels like this is the time that we are in right now. We are becoming and embodying the living Vesica Pisces, where something new is being created in and through us as we meet this rising dark and dying fear and discord and doubt. When we meet it with this radiant, expansive, greater love that is the truth of who we are, then we are present to this birthing of what feels like the new rose template for the radiance of humanity. Ishqui ime swa donde I mushke I ke wasoke di ke washke.
Enate otestiaetu, elaetu ase ora indashetua.
Mai mehi mewa heyo. Bringing in the pyramid energies, 432 hertz, the frequency of divine love, placing everyone who is receiving this energy at this time underneath this pyramid of light and sound. And she rings for a long time, and this feels like the call to our hearts right now, trusting that as we ring the bells of our heart in faith and devotion and in that space of universal love, it just keeps ringing and ringing and ringing out, rippling forth.
Beautiful. Awesome, my sister. I couldn't help but smile as your beautiful, rich voice comes into our hearts and our souls. And just remembering that place that you spoke of, the grounded place where more of our soul's light joins our human vessel, it is from that place that the magic and the miracles happen, and life becomes effortless. And so instead of grasping and reaching, we are receiving and bringing into our fields all that is meant for us. And it just reminded me as you were singing of going into that place within and the joining of the feminine and the masculine in that dance of receiving, surrendering, allowing, believing, trusting. So beautiful.
Thank you. And it is such a reminder that our minds can take us places that, when thoughts arise, that whether we're triggered or if fear enters in through something that we're experiencing personally or in the world, it really is the anchoring of our breath. And our voices are such a beautiful extension of our love and our hearts and our compassion. And, in the Buddhist tradition, I know there's such a beautiful practice of taking suffering, breathing it in as if it is your own, and meeting it with the suffering of the world, and then breathing out in this flow of what they call Tonglen practice, this cycling of breathing in whatever it is that is perhaps dark or heavy or evokes fear or suffering or pain. If it's for another, perhaps it's that empathic feeling we have. And then as we breathe it in and bring a sound to it, then we sing over the pain and the suffering. I love how Clarissa Pinkola Estes in her book Women Who Run with the Wolves says, to sing is to use the soul voice. It means to say on the breath the truth of one's power and one's need. It is to breathe soul over that which is ailing or in need of transformation. So I would offer this as a practice to anyone that, use your breath, use a sound. We have this attachment to being a great singer, and it's so much a disservice to our soul, because every person has a beautiful voice, because it's your voice and it's connected to your heart. So whether you keen or wail in the Celtic traditions, we release grief through sounding our pain, or whether it's just to sigh and release the heaviness, it brings us into our body, which then brings us right into the present moment. It's such medicine.
Beautiful. Yeah, and it reminds me of the whales that are going to be joining us at the retreat.
Yes.
One of the layers of purification is connecting in with the whales, and the whales are record keepers of the earth, and they help us to unlock the sounds of our soul, the frequencies and vibrations that can help us heal. It reminds me also of the Yeshua, who's one of my guides, and he always reminds me of speaking things into being and to using the vibration from the heart through the throat, anchored in love, to be able to bring healing into our being. And I think that's why sound really is being remembered more and more from ancient times, because it helps us to transcend our ego mind and go directly into the places within. It helps you forget the thoughts that are there and takes you deeper into your body. So I think sound is going to continue to play an even more important role in our lives as we continue evolving and continue remembering all these ancient practices that have been around for thousands of years.
Yes. And, the first time I heard your voice on a recording from a transmission activation that you had done, it was beyond my mind or my intellect. Your voice touched a part of me that immediately felt like I was being embraced by the mother herself. And your voice contained this rich warmth that felt ancient, yet so much of this present day. I could literally feel all of the timelines coming together in one, and it is the magic and the mystery coming together, right? And I had this knowing in my body that I knew you and that I wanted to get to know you better. Like I had known you before, and you were singing my song. And I thought, how does this woman know my song? Like it was such a revelation. And, I think about how you're right. All of the ancient practices, like it has been spoken of the fact that vibrational medicine has been around forever, ad infinitum, as long as matter has been on this planet. And that, the use of these frequency sacred geometries, think about the pyramids being built, and it's known that there were frequencies used that are unknown to us to raise and lift these heavy stones, and we can't even fathom the depths of this science. And as all time exists in this one moment, I think about how there's that beautiful quote from Edgar Cayce, who he said, sound will be the medicine of the future. And don't you think, Anümani, that we're in that future now?
Yes.
We're here right now.
We are.
Yeah.
Yes. Beautiful. Thank you, my sister. I do feel like a galactic mama many times of just, it's the recognition of the soul family. The vibration comes through the voice, and you begin to recognize each other, and it's such a beautiful thing. Because, I used to try to do things on my own, and then I recognized, like, no, I'm not meant to do this alone, and I need the support. And I feel that that's what we're trying to do, in these retreats that we've been putting together, is creating that safe container for these sisters of the rose who hear the calling to join us, to create a safe container where you can be supported, where all that you need is there, where you can speak your truth and you will be held and honored in that truth. And I think that's so important, that community, especially where we are in the evolution of the Earth's history. It's so important to recognize that, you don't need to do this alone, that we do it together, because it is through the connection, heart to heart and soul to soul, that we support each other. And Yeshua was the first one who said to me that we are here to love each other back into being. It is through that love that we become more of the beingness that is our true essence. And I've never forgotten that. It is my favorite of what he has shared with me, because I've experienced it in my own life, and I know you have as well, Pamela.
I have, and I'm laughing because my puppy is just chewing and chewing, and I'm like, okay, we're here to just be with whatever shows up in our life, and I don't even know what it is she's over there destroying. I'm just going to let it be, because it doesn't matter. And I loved what you said about that. I echo what you're saying about this desire for us to host retreats and to come together. In times of old, there were mystery schools where people stepped away, and, often they were ascetics. They were people that had eschewed family life, and they had devoted their life to being nuns or priests or monks or spiritual teachers, and they lived their life in devotion. And in our current modern day times, there are many of us who are, living in this living mystery school within ourselves, and we may live within a family, may have a partner or children, may or may not, but we still feel this call to come together and to do deeper practice, deeper devotion, deeper seeking. So I know you and I right away have been feeling called to come together. And at this time, it's women's retreats because we're really feeling called to the lineage, the Magdalene lineage of the Sisters of the Rose and the teachings of Mary Magdalene, which very much is what you just spoke to a few minutes ago, that we're here to love each other back into wholeness. And I love it when a book is recommended by several different people, and you recommended this book to me. And then another dear friend said, hey, you're doing work with Mary Magdalene. You've got to read this book, Mary Magdalene Revealed by Megan Watterson. So I, right now, am on the chapter. The title of the chapter is Mary Magdalene Was Not a Prostitute. And I was reading this in the bath last night, and knowing we were coming on today, it felt so alive in me to read this because it feels so resonant with what is happening in the world right now. And I have to say that, I had a couple of prayer requests from people today, and those of us that are sensitive to energy, Sunday, the new moon energy was very fresh. And in fact, I felt like cleaning house. I felt like creating more of a new template, that kind of spring cleaning energy. A new moon can often feel like that, like out with the old and with the new. And it felt very expansive and light and fresh. And then yesterday afternoon into today, I started to feel quite a heavy energy. And I know we've been having X-class solar flares. There's been a lot of intensity. So I know that there are a lot of people who are navigating some heavy lifting through challenges and physical challenges and illnesses and with their family members, and of course everything that's going on in the world. So I came to this passage in the book, and it felt like it wanted to be shared today between our hearts. If you asked me this, first I would tell you that truth is a phoenix and can never be burned. Truth will always emerge from the ashes and find its way to the surface of our consciousness. Next, I would tell you that I think we are finally ready for her teachings, her being Mary Magdalene, for the other half of the story that began not with Christ's birth, but with his resurrection. The story of a potential we all possess while we're human to be the bridge between heaven and earth. I read that and I just said, yes, this is what we are here to be, the bridge between heaven and earth. The story of a woman who was beloved to Christ, not because she followed him or worshipped him like an idol or being far greater than she could ever be, but rather because she followed his example and became the love that he was also. And I would tell you that this love she became is what our world needs now most desperately. It's a love that renders all things sacred, from the animals to the angels, from the poorest to the most powerful. It's a love that sees the inherent worth in all living things. Mary Magdalene is the embodiment of a love that reaches where it never has before.
So beautiful. And I was feeling Mary Magdalene's energy very strongly right before you started reading that. And she's smiling, right? Because in the message she gave for the retreat, part of the message was about restoring love into its purest form. And we are that. We hold that template of that pure love. And that's part of the reason why we're doing these retreats, because it's through the rose frequencies that we can really embody that and express it through our being. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to talk a little bit about the white rose flame that I think connects into what you were speaking about. Mm-hmm. So you talked about the ancient mystery schools. The white flame was part of what was taught in the ancient mystery schools, connected to Mary Magdalene and Isis and, many Egyptian deities and, Atlantis and Lemuria and all those civilizations. And it's a vibration and a frequency that brings alchemy. It brings purity. It's a vibration that's being opened up more deeply for us now so that we can access its energy to alchemize what's in the way. It reminds me of the dove, right? Of that energy of peace, one of your songs, of really opening up to that purity, that holiness that is our true essence. We all have it. We are all it. Yeah. And I was reading something in the book today that really resonated with me, which was that we are 100% divine and 100% human. And there is no 50-50. You are both in wholeness. And that really rang true for me because it reminds me of, what this white flame connected to the Vesica Pisces that you mentioned, of bringing our divine masculine and divine feminine together as one. And this is part of the energy that's going to be available to us at the retreat. We're going to be going through these three, when I received the download, it's kind of these three layers to get us to that level of initiation, starting with the shamanic earthly energies, really connecting to Mother Earth and the nature spirits, then moving into the whales with water as the purification, really preparing the body then to receive the initiation of this white rose flame, which is the opening of the activation of the Magdalene flame in our hearts. And it's really, exciting for me because, I've felt this connection with the Christed family since I was writing my book back in 2016, but it feels like full circle, like we're really embodying it now and really stepping into it and opening the doorway for that which is already within you. Because we all have access to these codes within us. And it's in the coming together of opening our hearts that we can access these light codes that, when we do for ourselves, we do for each other and we do for the collective. So we're not just doing this work for ourselves, we are doing it for all of humanity. And that to me feels so amazing and beautiful to be able to do it together.
Oh, I'm scratching the top of my head because as you were talking, my crown is just opening and it's like itchy, the energy is just flowing in from the heavens above as we are becoming that bridge from heaven to earth. And I love what you just said because I too have been drawn to the teachings of Yeshua and the Christed family. And, I grew up in Regina, Saskatchewan, and went to a United Church, and I kind of took myself there. I was the fifth, and in a family, of the youngest of 5 kids, and everybody else got taken to Sunday school. And when everybody, my parents, in a big family, I think there's more energy for those kinds of things, and once you have a big family, it kind of dissipates. And what's I find so amazing is in my family, all my other siblings were baptized, but I was not. And for that reason, just because my mom said I was so busy and I kind of didn't think, did it really matter? And what's fascinating is of any of my siblings, I mean, they all have their own path to spirit, but I've kind of become the most spiritual one. And I know that we're baptized in many different ways. And how I've been drawn to the teachings of Christ and the Christed family and the lineage of the rose is in a way that I knew not of, how I was being either guided or inspired. But what was so alive in me was the knowing that at our essence, every one of us is pure and innocent. And I never resonated with any of the teachings that talked about being a sinner. In fact, there was one church that I went to. I don't want to offend any of my friends who are Anglican churchgoers, but it talked, in the Catholic Church, talked a lot about being a sinner. And as a kid, I just never resonated with that. And I think that what the Christ that's alive within us and on the planet right now is asking us to realize that this is the temple right here. This is the church. This flesh and bone body temple that we reside in, it's not about going outside of ourselves. It's about going deeper and deeper within. And you talked about, being guided to writing your book through this inspiration. And a song came to me called The Sound of the Dove. And it really was about this journey of allowing ourselves to be cracked wide open and to feel that which is joyful and elevated and, blissful. But the way of the rose is also the way of the thorn, and to allow ourselves to really feel the pain and the suffering and the woe and the deep wound of darkness that each human has carried from the beginning of time, or at least since the inversion of our pure blueprint of perfection. So I think that this time that we're in right now, this becoming a bridge from heaven to earth, is acknowledging that every one of us is 100% divine and 100% human. I love that you say it's not 50-50, it's 100%. And that every one of us simply wants to be met in a place of loving kindness, love, care, and respect. That's the Holy Trinity. And I really have been feeling in the past few days, in some of the exchanges and conversations I've been having, is that there's been a lot of water under the bridge, and there's been a lot of pain in relationship in the world in the past couple of years. And a lot of walls have gone up around people's hearts, just to survive, just to protect. And I think that the times that we're in, this deeper love that Mary Magdalene represents is an invitation to feel the edge of that suffering where we don't feel lovable, and to meet ourselves with that deep love that is the love of Christ and Mary Magdalene, that sees us in our perfection, the perfection of our imperfection, that we've faltered, we have stumbled, but we rise again, and that we want to be forgiven our mistakes, and then to take it one step further to the beauty of the Course in Miracles that speaks to there is nothing to forgive because you are innocent. We are all innocent.
Beautiful. Yeah, you remind me of Marianne Williamson's book, A Return to Love. I feel that's what we're doing, right? We are peeling back the layers and restoring the parts of us that have experienced different traumas and conditioning over thousands of years. And the rose is the flower with the highest frequency. It's always been connected to the Marys and Mother Mary, Mary Magdalene, and it's this white flame, white rose flame that we are connecting to in this retreat will be a way to peel back those layers. And it's feeling more of that love unfolding within you, like witnessing a rose opening its petals, petal by petal. And we have access to that depth of love because we are that. We've just forgotten. And so we're reminding each other. And we do it through compassion and love. And when you were talking about, meeting the darkness, you can't get to the other side without going within and meeting those places. And the way to meet them is with love and compassion and letting those parts of you know that you love them no matter what.
Exactly.
Yeah. And we're doing it. We're doing it together.
It's interesting as you said that. As I've been reading Mary Magdalene Revealed, I was just in this chapter. Mary Magdalene was not a prostitute, and it was speaking about, some of the historical references or ways she was perceived. And I just had an image of, Christ was drawn to be with the disenfranchised of society. Christ went to be with the lepers and the prostitutes and those that were the outcasts of what we might call noble society. And as you were speaking, I was just thinking, this love that we're being called to. I feel like this is what we ourselves are being asked to recognize as we remember that there are no outcasts, that every part of us, whether, whatever label we might ascribe to these parts of us, good, bad, beautiful, ugly, beggar, the blessed one, they're all being cast aside, and we're being asked to draw near to all parts of ourselves, and especially the parts that, have been shrouded in shame, because we know that on the David Hawkins scale, that the highest frequency is enlightenment, universal love, peace, joy. And at the very bottom, the very bottom of that scale is shame. And I think that is what we are healing right now, is any part of us that has been cowering in our unconscious, in our subconscious, or maybe it's quite conscious to us, ways that we have felt ashamed. It's time to draw that part of us close and love it into wholeness, love ourselves, as you say, to remind ourselves that the wound is actually what has brought our wisdom.
Yeah. It's beautiful. And should we talk a little bit about the retreat? And Pamela's been so amazing in finding these two beautiful Airbnbs for us. So I'm going to let her talk a little bit about the locations of where we're having these retreats, and then we will add some more details.
Yes, so from our last retreat that we had in Ontario last fall, on day 3, the women who gathered with us were so lit up from the experience. And, at brunch, they were saying, where's the next one? You need to have a destination retreat. And some places started to, pop up in conversation. And the one that landed was Sedona. And as, a few weeks after that last retreat, I started to poke around a little bit on Airbnb and Verbo and different sites. And come mid-December, I really was going down the Airbnb rabbit hole quite deeply and finding that everything about this retreat, right, Anümani, everything about it has been guided by the grace of a higher authority, divinity, and divine design with so much ease and grace that I have to smile. Because within a few weeks, I had found 3 or 4 places that I had saved into my wish list. And then I came back the last week of December, and I could see that, even though I was looking at the end of April, some of those places were selling out already. So I took the plunge, and first week of January booked 2 of these places, and then I Googled the addresses and put them into MapQuest. And interestingly, they're just a few minutes apart by car, like a 5-6 minute drive. And they are right in the center of all of the really, well-known magical vortexes in the Sedona area. Bell Rock, Cathedral Rock, the Airport Vortex, the Chapel of the Holy Cross. So we are right centrally, we're going to be right in the center of these energy vortexes while we're there. Eating, sleeping, laughing, doing the deep work of our activations and the workshops and transmissions, chilling out in the jacuzzi, whatever it is, allowing ourselves to really come so fully into this body temple and to welcome this next level of expansion, of illumination, of radiance, of the fullness of who we came to be as souls, that we can be lit up like that golden sun that's peeking through between us. I think about that Sedona sun on the red rocks. It casts a glow like nowhere else in the world. And I feel like as we'll be lighting up all of our chakras, we will become the axis mundi that Megan Watterson speaks about so much in her book, Mary Magdalene Revealed, that we have come to willingly become the vessel, the axis mundi, the bridge between heaven and earth. So, here I start talking about the practical, and then I just go off into the poetic, because that's what I do. So that's where we're going to be for the 5 nights, 6 days of the retreat. And we have some beautiful excursions planned to the Buddhist stupa and the Chapel of the Holy Cross. We have a beautiful chef creating vegan meals and other beautiful meals being prepared. It's going to be magical and very nurturing and rejuvenating. And we know that we are saying yes to a divine assignment. And at this point, within the first 2.5, 3 weeks of releasing the webpage for the retreat, 8 of the 12 spots were spoken for. 8 beautiful women said yes and have registered. So at this point, we have 4 spots left. So we know that this is a divine call. And if you happen to be listening now or come to the replay, or somebody says, hey, I think you need to hear about this, you will. You will hear and you will know. And we would love to have you join us if you are one of the women meant to take one of these last 4 spots.
Yeah, and just as a reminder, we have it's an early bird full payment or a 3 payment plan, and the 3 payment plan is only available until this Friday, midnight. So yes, if you are feeling the call and you feel like, that would be great for you to have that flexibility, then you'd need to sign up by Friday at midnight.
The 24th, yes.
Yeah, the 24th, this Friday. And it's going to be amazing. I know I've been connecting with Isis and Mary Magdalene, and there's going to be many other beings with us. There were hundreds of them with us at the first retreat, and I'm just feeling the depth of this one. And I know that Isis and Mary Magdalene specifically said that they would be leading the initiation piece of it, which will be the 3rd activation transmission that we do. And there's going to be opportunities to do journaling and sharing and dancing and movement. And Pamela's going to be doing a sound bath on Friday evening. I mean, there's an opportunity for you to also do some things on your own. You'll have a couple of hours to go shopping or to rest or relax, whatever it is that you want to do. So lots of opportunity for sisterhood, but also opportunities for you to go within and spend some time really going to that place within you that is looking for what we were just talking about, more love, and trying to get your attention, and trying to feel compassion. And, we'll be creating that together in sisterhood.
And I've been feeling a lot of Kuan Yin energy. She's over my shoulder. She's been really coming to me at this time and saying she will be overseeing a lot. She also has a lot to do with the waters. And she says, because she's the goddess of mercy and compassion, the waters of the human heart at this time that are shedding many tears. And she's talking about transfiguring these tears within the depth of the red rock energy, almost like in that alchemical way, that there is a fiery transmutation that's going to happen of taking the pain and the suffering, our own, that of our own families and ancestors, and that of the collective, into this very alchemical time where we are going to deepen into this beautiful personal and planetary mercy and compassion. And then I'm seeing the Kachina energy, which is that dancing energy. I just think about, I can't remember the name of the Aboriginal equivalent in Australia, but that Kachina energy, because we're going to be doing movement as well and some ecstatic dance. And so we're really inviting women to come as you are. Come exactly as you are now, with your blessings, with your burdens, and come and, be emptied. Allow your body, your mind, your heart to be emptied of whatever it is that perhaps has been weighing on you when you've done the work. And there's so many layers we do of releasing, but it feels like this is going to be a really beautiful opportunity to go deeper into that releasing, to allow more radiance, more of your fullness, more of your joy. And that's really what 2023 has been about, is baby, dream bigger, because the dream is dreaming you, and Spirit wants us to feel this joy, this aliveness, this sisterhood, this playing together again. And this is what our coming together in this Holy Communion really is. It's about lighting each other up. Yeah, that's what it feels like to me.
It reminds me of the dolphins, right? When we talk about the water and the playfulness, and being reminded that there's this different way of being, and that we're letting suffering go behind us and stepping into a new way of being. And that new way of being is more playful. It is in community. It is supporting each other at deeper levels. And so we're looking forward to being able to create that space for all of you.
Absolutely. There is a holiness in stepping into the trust and innocence of our playful nature, because for eons, the virtue used to be in being a martyr or being a victim. We are shedding that, because I think, there are at times, with so much that's going on in the world, sometimes we think, with so many that are suffering, who am I to be feeling this joy? And Mary Magdalene is just smiling right now and saying, it is time to take off the cloak of that, the weight of that suffering and that tyrant victim martyrdom. It is so much of the old story. And the real vitality and health of the body and joy of the mind and the spirit and the soul is in the permission to fully be in your innocence, in the naturalness and playfulness as you were when you were a child, to reclaim that. Yeah.
Absolutely. And what was coming through was letting go the crucifixion and stepping into the resurrection. And you were talking about transfiguration.
High five. Amen, sister. Amen on that one. I think Andrew Harvey and I saw Andrew Harvey and Marianne Williamson actually in person a few years ago. Well, it was before COVID, probably 6 or 7 years ago. And Andrew Harvey said that, okay, because he basically looked at Marianne, and she was speaking a lot of the challenges in the world, and he just kind of, I love Andrew because he just speaks truth to truth, and he goes, enough of the crucifixion, it's time for the resurrection. And you're right, we're here for
Yes,
that. We are here for
absolutely.
that. Yeah.
So beneath the video is the link to the landing page if you're called to go and check out the information on there and to register. You can go to my website, www.anumanispeaks.com. Right on the homepage, there's a link where you can get to the landing page, but the full link is also beneath the video if you're on social media.
Yes, and if you have any questions, feel free to send us a private message or find us on Facebook and send us a question, a query. We would love to support you in any way that we can. Thank you, my sister. This has been so beautiful, as always. I love you.
Love you too. And just want to thank all the people that came and those who will watch the replay. We love you all. And we look forward to those who are feeling the call to join us in Sedona. Love and blessings to you all.
So much love, grace, and gratitude to you all.